Good evening. It's our Facebook Live again. Today I'm doing my Facebook Live at Phuket. It has been quite some time since I have my holiday. So everyone is asking where is Kill. So Kill is back this week. So today our topic is about better sex, better life. And today we are talking about performance anxiety in men and women. So Kills want to say hello to our audience. People are missing you so much.
Oh, well, hi to everybody. It's nice to be back. I was also in my self-imposed exile for a while.
Okay.
So
So,
it's nice to be here again.
mm, I think we had done quite many episodes with Kill about a better sex, better life. So today, because there's a lot of questions about performance anxiety, that's why today's topic is about performance anxiety. And surprisingly, a lot of men actually think that they have erectile dysfunction, but majority is because of performance anxiety. And
Yeah.
even Dr. Daniel said that they have a clinical studies wanting to do on erectile dysfunction. Even before the project started, it was being cancelled because most of the men who came do not have erectile dysfunction. It's only performance anxiety. Okay, so
Right.
so, Kills, what is actually sexual performance anxiety?
That's actually strange to talk about because there's the there's this psychological concept of sexual performance anxiety, and that's like a construct or an idea. And there is actual sexual performance physiologically. So you could say
Okay.
that having sexual performance anxiety for men can manifest itself as, say, like some form of challenges with having an erection during having sex, but
So
it's
today I
not.
might be laggy due to the connection here. So if in case I'm laggy, then please, Kills, you continue to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. and
Because
and
I
and
see that you are like I see Kills is stuck. I'm not sure it's you or me.
I
Are
mean, I
you
think I'm
laggy?
fine. No, I'm
You're
not.
fine. Okay. Okay. So maybe
Okay,
it's
is it
me.
back to normal now
Okay.
for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Back to normal now.
Okay, but yeah, so but like sexual performance anxiety as a concept is not necessarily the same as, say, erectile dysfunction as a
Mm-mm.
physiological reality. They may be connected, but they're not one in the same.
Mm.
And it's also kind of funny because did you know that I think from reading, the concept of sexual performance anxiety is mostly associated with men because the most obvious thing to look at is, can you get your dick up,
Okay. You
which is
are
more like
stuck
which is
again
like a more
with
societal concept.
me. Okay.
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, you all got to pardon me if I'm lagging today. Okay, so you are talking about men's anxiety. There's a lot to relate with men.
Oh, it's mostly, if you do all the reading, it's just mostly associated with men because the the most common symptom of it that's very obvious to people is you have erectile dysfunction, or like you can't get your penis erect.
Yeah.
Because it's the
Okay.
most obvious thing to look at, but I would actually say that it's much broader than that.
Yeah. But again, I think maybe many doesn't know that women also have sexual performance anxiety.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not
Do you think so?
as. Yeah, I mean, I
Do you
think
think
so
women
because,
has sexual performance anxiety?
I mean, if we're looking at that as a psychological concept, yeah.
Gosh, I'm not sure if you're stuck or you're just, yeah. Okay. Do you know that women has sexual performance anxiety as well?
I mean, yeah, of course. Like, I think
Like,
sexual
like how?
performance anxiety, in the same way that they have, it's the idea in your head that you're unable to actually have sex
Enjoy.
effectively and enjoy it for yourself and
Yeah.
for your partner. Uh,
Yeah.
and that means everybody can have it.
Yeah. So I think for women, a lot of times it's about getting very difficult to be aroused, or even
Yeah.
like difficult to orgasm, and especially you have more anxiety if your partner is pressuring you to get your orgasm. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I would think women also have a sexual performance anxiety. So
Yeah.
why do you think we as men and women also has this anxiety?
Well, I mean, the main core root behind it is really the feeling of inadequacy. It's the idea that you cannot fulfill some form of expectation.
Mm,
So for a
okay.
lot of men, they would look at it as, oh, like my penis has to be a certain shape or a certain
Mm,
size. I
mm,
need to be able to give my partner an orgasm,
mm,
or
mm.
I need to look good in front of the mirror for my partner when I'm naked. These are
So
the things
again,
that people think about.
all this actually goes around. Gosh, you guys need to pardon me today. I don't know why. Okay. Just now I was stuck again. Yeah. So you're talking about body. Actually, I think body shame a lot to do with
Yeah,
body shame,
it's a lot.
especially
The reason primarily for performance anxiety is people have an idea in their minds of what sex is and
should
what is
be. Yeah.
expected out of it. And they have a feeling that if they cannot meet those expectations, then they feel like they're being rejected.
Mm. So who are setting all this unrealistic expectation?
Oh, God. You can look at, well, I actually said God.
Okay.
I mean, your culture is definitely one of them, and media as well. Because like your main, what the things that you watch, the thing that you watch is what you look at. Whether you look at mainstream movies or if somebody's watching pornography, you have an idea of what you think good sex is, and if you cannot meet those standards or you cannot replicate that scenario, you feel like, oh, I'm not doing it right.
Mm, mm,
And more concretely, you can look at that as uh, like both men and women feeling that they have to behave in a certain way, they have to look in a certain way, their body has to respond in a certain way. And if they feel like they cannot do that, then they're starting to feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna get a failing grade in life or something.
so you see, all this expectation itself, when I listen to it, I already feel that anxiety actually. So where did this build up? Is it from the past experience, or is it from trauma, or is it because of pornographic?
Yeah, I
Why
think
do
it
you
would
think
be
this
I think
happens?
it would be three main sources if I were to just classify it for myself. The first one would be what has been taught to you by your parental figures or people around you as you're growing up. So that gives you an idea of what the expectations are of sex and what is the purpose of sex. So let's say if you're coming from a religious background, they have their own rules of what sex is.
Mm,
And if they say like,
yeah,
oh, sex is
yeah,
bad, then
yeah.
you're like, oh, I already feel guilty going into some form of intimate interaction with somebody. Or
Yes,
if they say
yes,
the body is dirty, then you already have these.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's number one. Then number two is the things that you watch and
Okay.
materials that you consume, whether it be pornography or you watch movies that have sex scenes or something like
Mm,
that. Okay, now you
yeah.
have another picture in your mind. And then the third one is basically what you said, which is your own personal experience with it. And if it was bad, whew, then that's also another thing that's lying on your mind. And you combine all those three, and all three are valid sources of some form of expectation hangover of
So,
anxiety.
but how do you overcome it? Because the parental thing, the religion thing, the society that makes you feel guilty about it. How do you overcome that? That is quite
Yeah,
deep.
It's very deep, and that's the reason why there's actually real therapists that are working on this specific topic, because it's such a cornerstone of healthy mainstream relationships. But for the most part, first, I would say that not all forms of definitions of expectations need to be changed. Because if you and your partner have the same, say you're both, I don't know, it's like you're both taught that sex is a certain way and it should only be done with your, I don't know, married partner or something, and you both believe
Okay.
that, then it's okay, right? It's okay to keep
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But if you want to change that, that's rough, because you need to confront, you need some form of counseling to confront what the belief is. And then you need to be able to see if you want to keep that, then you need to practice being not believing that long enough to the point where it becomes normal. That's why it takes years to deal with that.
I mean, come back to the sex before marriage. I mean, for certain religions, I would think if you really believe that and wants to practice that, I would think you shouldn't delay your marriage until too late of a stage, right? Because our sexual hormones is at peak when you are at your early 20s. And imagine if you only have sex when you get married, which is, let's say you get married very late in your life, like 40, and imagine no sex before that. I think that will also cause another problem post marriage sex.
I mean, I would look at that as
that kind of desire.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at that unless you keep yourself at a very physically healthy state all the time, then it kind of gets more complicated as you get older, as a general rule. So, as a general rule of thumb, I would probably say yes, if that's what your definition is. If you think that sex should only be with your married partner, yeah, you might want to, maybe start a little bit earlier.
I would think, getting married earlier when your hormones are still at peak.
Not to mention if you want to have kids,
suppressing your hormone until your later stage of your life.
Yeah, and not to mention if you want to have kids too. That's another factor.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody knows that sex decreases a lot more within partners once they have kids. So you kind of want to get a head start on that,
Yeah. Yeah. So then the other thing that you talk about is like, what are the things that we see, right? Like, of course, pornography sometimes are unrealistic, and even all this romantic movie, right? Like, you look so good, your hair always look good, and I think for women the anxiety comes a lot on how do I look, and if you're stuck, and if you are stuck with that insecurity, how are you able to enjoy or be present, when you're making love to your partner? So I think I
mean, if I had to drill it down to like the two most common things that people are deep down in their heads, men are saying, am I good enough to make my partner orgasm, and is my dick big enough? and for women, they're thinking about, do I look good when I'm naked, and is he attracted to me? And number two, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Am I playing with this thing right? And stuff. So it's like those two things, like battling each other all the time, is kind of fun. It's challenging, but it's very real.
And also, I think for women, the hygiene also might cause them to have anxiety. If you're too concerned about, do I smells good, do I smells real, or things like that, it might cause you have a lot of anxiety.
They think about everything from how I smell to like, what about is certain parts of my body white enough, smooth enough? When was the last time I did some form of grooming? Did I wax? Did I whatever? It's like, that's all there. Like, it's all there in their minds. So yeah.
So, but I would think sometimes it's also good to have scheduled sex so that the woman is also prepared, like you say, waxing, or I don't know, cleaning, and make sure you are hygiene before you make love. I think sometimes if it's unscheduled, then there's too many things in your mind. Am I wearing sexy enough lingerie, when I have to make love? Yeah.
So I would say that like people who have much healthier sex lives in general within committed couples tend to have a more scheduled routine of like, okay, if Friday is our date night, then it kind of happens that very likely sex is going to happen on that day. High probability. And that means, yeah, they are a bit more prepared for it. You can get rid of the work stress before you go into a Friday date, and you can anticipate it. You can build anticipation for it. I wouldn't necessarily say no to impromptu sex, because if you're both really, really in the mood, I think you should do it. But the moment somebody feels that they're pressured to do it, that's when it starts. That's when the
Yeah, the
problems really
anxiety.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, another factor was talking about past experience. So imagine if there's a guy who, when he gets soft and the partner start, I don't know, criticizing him,
Oh yeah,
and
that's dead.
then I think that will cause him a lot of anxiety, especially with new partners, right? He will,
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
of his
and
mind, he
yeah,
will, yeah.
that's gonna be a recurring problem very quickly.
Like a bad cycle,
Like a
right?
bad
Because
cycle. Yeah. Any form of comment on it is gonna trigger that. Uh,
so what is your advice if maybe you're in the middle of making love making and that guy gets soft, right? Which is normal. I want to
yeah.
normalize this as well, which is normal. Sometimes when you're tired or you're in a position that is not right, you might get soft, you know, which is very extremely normal. And what do you think is the right reaction for a woman?
For a woman or
Yeah,
for a guy?
for a woman, because
Okay.
how the woman react will affect how the man react, right?
I would say that it's also the other way around.
Okay.
Because, for example, you can look at, okay, I'm losing my sense of like erection here.
Okay.
What is the reason behind it? If I just feel like I'm getting tired of this, I can switch to a very different. Maybe you can do oral sex for a while and give yourself a
Yeah.
break, because you could
Yeah.
also be physically getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. The problem there is when you start, let's say, like, so the man is softening up, and he wants to transition and do something else, and that is not supported. Whereas if the
Okay.
reaction to it is like, hey, that's it, that's all you have, like,
No, I think maybe the common problem that men will face is when they start losing it, they might want to try to make it hard again, and it's not able, and it's getting softer and softer. And the more he focus on it, the harder it become, right? And the woman become like, oh, what should I do at this moment?
yeah. And the short answer there is, I would always prefer it if people know how to stimulate themselves.
Okay, you're right. You're
Because,
right.
yeah, as a general note, since we're allowed to talk about this openly now,
Yeah. Okay.
it's like, okay, softening up. What do? You move to oral positions, because, I mean, you're both not really wanting to end it yet, but you
Yes.
move in that direction. And when you want to get hard again, then you touch
Yeah.
yourself and do it yourself, and then get back into get back into it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is actually
So I think,
very normal.
yeah. So I think the more common thing that I encounter when a client coming to us, telling us that they have erectile dysfunction, I will always ask questions and to discover they only have performance anxiety. And like what you advise, I always ask them to learn how to stimulate themselves. And
Yeah.
because you might, there are certain way to touch yourself or stimulate yourself that it can get you erected. And if you keep on doing that and you are confident enough to know that, oh, I can get erected when I touch myself this way, or you can even teach your partner to touch it
Yeah.
this way, then I don't think, and I think that anxiety will go away, right?
Correct. Yeah. And you actually hit it on the head. You have to learn how to do it yourself first, and then you can teach it.
Teach, yes,
And then
yes.
that solves majority of the problems.
A lot of people doesn't know how to touch themselves, and then they not able to communicate to the partner, and leads to lots of frustration. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Well,
think again, when
there's a lot of stigma there also at times, because some people think that the idea of touching yourself is morally incorrect.
wrong,
And I was
okay,
like, wait, that's
touching
part of,
yourself in
yeah,
public is incorrect.
of course.
Touching yourself
Well, yeah.
in private is okay.
Yeah, well, also like touching yourself within the confines of your intimate relationship with your partner is also okay. If anything, that's actually great. Like, please do more of that. Like, you're solving the problem. Actually, you're solving the performance anxiety of your partner in the process of doing that too.
So I think whenever you have performance anxiety, the the right thing to do is to relax, right? Just chill, hugging, kissing, do other things that relax you. Whether maybe giving your partner a massage to relax the person, because anxiety, and if you keep on focusing again on the penis to make it erect, it's like when you are pressuring a woman to orgasm. I don't think she can.
Yeah, it's like you're not fixing a radio, guys. It doesn't work that way. It's not.
Are you done?
Like, are you done? Are you done? Is it fixed? Is it all connected again? Like, is that? It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. When a pause happens that is not welcome in a sexual intimate setting, that usually means somebody is undergoing something psychologically that is affecting them physiologically, and the way you deal with that, which is how you help your partner with sexual performance anxiety, is actually to encourage them and to be kind and be understanding. That's all
Yeah.
you really need to do.
Okay, I think being kind is really, really important. If you are being mean, you might cause a
Yeah.
lot of trauma to that partner.
Yeah. By the way, hey, why is it not hard? That is a terrible question to ask somebody. It's terrible. You might be thinking that you're asking innocently, but that's not what it means. When you say like, hey, why hard? Why not wet? That's not how it's interpreted by your partner.
Yeah.
It's actually saying,
so
what's wrong with you?
yeah, true. I think asking why you are not hard, and also asking a woman why are you not wet, I think is not right.
It's not. It's really not right. I think the best way to do that, if your partner, for example, is experiencing something, you ask them how they're doing, and you just be there for them, and you ask them like what would make them feel better.
Okay.
That's it.
So instead of asking woman why are you not wet, you should be helping her, right?
Yeah,
Instead of asking,
you can literally ask this verbatim. You could literally just ask, "Hey, is everything okay?
Okay.
What can I do?"
What do you expect the person to say?
Well, you could easily ask, if you ask the person, "Are they doing okay?" And you just wait for the answer, because the answer might be, "It seems like I'm not really in that place," or maybe "I'm dehydrated today," like, or whatever, or they're going through something in their mind. And when that happens, then you accommodate for that. Or maybe it might even mean, oh, if that's the case, then maybe we shouldn't do this right now, and maybe we do it later on when you're feeling better. That's actually even better. They'll actually like you more for it.
I think that's the problem. When people expect to orgasm and ends it. And I think sometimes this doesn't happen, right? So you might start it and suddenly you're not in the mood, you can't get erected, or a woman is not aroused, is feeling uncomfortable for the woman, then
Yeah.
you should just cuddle and kiss, or hugging, talking with each other,
Yeah.
be present, be there for each other, and not only continuing and force each other to orgasm.
Yeah, it's
I
also
can't
very
imagine. I
it's
can't
also very
imagine if.
common to have people who are really in the mood, and then one of them says, shit, I really have a lot on my mind because of that annoying work thing that happened a while ago. And then you just, okay, wait, I think we just need you to calm down and relax a little bit. Yeah, you can talk about it, you can massage each other, or you can give each other some time to, like, okay, maybe you should just cool off a little bit and let's chill out for a little bit. That's great.
Imagine if you have a partner who is not understanding and get pissed off and get angry because you're not in the mood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am not going to deny that if that happens way too often,
Okay.
that means nobody is getting what they want anymore. And that is a problem. That requires serious problem solving, not between just a sex concept, but like you guys need to deal with your relationship problems because none of you are getting what you want anymore.
So how do we help people with this performance anxiety?
Okay. So number one is the first step of everything is you need to be kind and understanding first. Like that's the first step, because you need to understand what you're dealing with and that you're kind and accepting to the person.
Okay.
If you already know,
So
yeah.
audience, if you have a kind and understanding partner, please don't let them go.
Yeah, that's really hard to find, to be quite honest. Or rather, it's a hard skill to cultivate, to first be kind first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are mean and get frustrated or even angry when you are not in the mood, kind of things, right? So I think being kind and being understanding, if you have a partner like this, I think, it's worth hanging on. Okay, so number two?
Yeah, so the first one is to be kind and understanding of the situation. Number two is, once you do that, depending on what you receive, you can either be very encouraging. Let's say if they have body image issues and you genuinely think that what they're worried about is not like, but I find you so hot. you encourage them, or you give space, or you accommodate if they need support. It's like they need emotional support, or it's been a rough day, and then you stop there. That's number two.
Let's stop at number two. I think it's really important for couples to always give compliments when it comes to the body shape or whatever. Like you are so hot, you're so attractive, you're so sexy, you smell so good. All this is important. I think even for men, right? If a woman compliments you about how you look, how hot you are, I think that's give a very good booster to the confidence.
Yeah, and I'm not saying be fake. That's what I'm saying.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah. I'm sure you are attracted to the person. So that's why you are making love to that person, right?
Yeah.
Despite what shape that person is, I'm sure you find that person attractive. That is why you're making love to the person.
Yeah, and by the way, if you want, if for some reason, because I know you're there listening to this, what if my partner is not in very good shape? The way you deal with that is by complimenting them on the parts of their bodies that you would like to be better, but at the same time, you already appreciate it for what it is. It's like you could literally just tell your partner, I really like when you work out and I can see that your butt is like really firm and perky. That really turns me on. What do you think your partner's gonna do? They'll be like, oh well, I'm gonna work out more then. That's really what they're gonna do. So you don't say, hey, yeah, you're getting fat, I think you need to exercise.
Yes!
That's terrible. That's like, what the hell?
I think another problem with Asian, I don't know whether it's an Asian problem or not, that sometimes couple who are in long-term relationship, they tend to feed each other and make each other fat, and so that they feel more secure, Oh, so that nobody wants you anymore, so you are like mine. And now you find that this person is not attractive anymore.
I mean, is that actually factually true?
I think so. I have seen so many couples who are
Yikes.
who actually feed each other so much, and
Yeah. I mean, the driving force behind a behavior like that is I'm scared that if you leave me, I'm not going to find anyone else. So I'm just going to make sure that you're the most unattractive person ever so you won't leave me. That is hardly a recipe for sexual attraction.
Okay, but I would think another thing is just now when you're talking, I think it's also need a person to be optimistic, to have the eye to look at things that is nice, right? Sometimes, like what you say, when you compliments, it needs to come from sincerely. Example, if this person is slightly more overweight or bigger size, then maybe she has a very nice, smooth skin, right? Her skin is very smooth and nice, fair skin or something. I don't know, something that you appreciate, or sometimes maybe bigger size is something that you like, right? You like somebody who are more curvy and things like that. You can also comment on that. So I think, I think coming from your sexual partner and able to give you compliments actually really give a lot of confidence boost.
Like what you want to praise is not the actual thing. What you want to praise is a lot of the behavior that they're doing. It's the same way how you train kids to. It's the idea that, if your partner goes on a gym session, which doesn't happen very often, let's say that doesn't happen very often, and they go to the gym and they come back home, you compliment them that they went to the gym, and you find them very attractive when they come back from the gym and what they're wearing. And even though they're like the fact that they're worked out and a bit sweaty, but in a good way, it's like it's good. It feels good for you. Do you think they're not gonna do that again? Of course they're gonna do that again.
Okay, now I'm thinking the opposite way. So imagine if on a normal day you are criticizing your partner, saying, "Look how fat you are! Stop eating. You're getting fatter and fatter."
That's okay.
And imagine when that person is going to get naked with you, how does the person will feel? I think it will feel very insecure, right? Even with clothes, you're already criticizing me. Without clothes, I better off the light, I guess.
Yeah, because they can't be attracted to you if they already feel so shitty about themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so which point we are at now? We are talking about kindness. We're talking about.
Well, number 3 is if none of those things are working and it's a continuous problem, then you are going to need to potentially see a professional. Yeah, okay. Because only a professional. Sometimes there are certain things that, in the same way that you cannot be the therapist of your partner, you probably need an external person to give you guys objective support on how to deal with this problem. And even through that, if it doesn't work, then you might have to think about something. Like you might want to reevaluate what's going on in your relationship, because if nobody's getting what they want, then why are you doing it?
Okay.
It's a serious conversation. This doesn't apply, obviously, if the person is a new person that you're dating. That's a very different set. That's a very different set of, say, like potential performance anxiety. If you're dating somebody new and you're in the dating phase, that's very different.
Okay. So let's talk about this committed relationship first. So there are also things like when a man was in the relationship for too long, that maybe as they age, they start to get harder to get erection, right? Harder to get erection, and they start to have this anxiety, and sometimes they might be avoiding the wife, right? Because I am so I feel so anxiety. I feel nervous when I'm with my wife because I afraid that when she touch me, I am not able to get erection.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, the question there is
Then
either that's usually two things. Number one, are you still even attracted to your wife?
so assuming yes, but maybe because of age or health condition that you started to lose the erection, and
Mhm.
and also something that is not very common is couple don't talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would think you definitely needs to talk to your wife. That's why we keep on emphasizing that sexual communication is so important, because when things get tough, it's easier to communicate if you're communicating it all the time.
Yeah.
If you have never talked about it, you don't even talk what please, what are the things that pleasure you, and now you have erectile dysfunction or you have problem getting it hard, then it becomes very hard for you to tell your wife. And when you start
Yeah.
avoiding your wife might have some thinking. Are you having an affair? Am I not attractive anymore? There will be so
Yeah.
much of questions in a woman's mind.
Yeah, you need to kill those doubts because if you have a physiological challenge, you have to
Yeah.
tell your wife that I have a
Yes.
physiological challenge. Like in my mind, I want to have sex with you. My body is
Yes.
not cooperating.
Yes. And maybe because you're telling her that, she will put even more efforts, right? She will try more ways, maybe, more methods, or, even more toys to see if there's a new way to stimulate you.
Yeah, there are also cases where people where men are like, I really love and am attracted to my wife, but I've tried everything and that part of me just doesn't work that way anymore.
Okay.
But that's not the only way to have sex.
Yes, okay, you are right. So I think I have one client also told me the same thing, and I told her there's not only penis vaginal penetration. This is only one way, but there are so much more other ways. So again, the definition of sex for many people are very, very narrow,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean if I just look at like my own history of looking at that, it's just that I don't necessarily, it's like when I'm sexually in an active part like stage in like my life, in say like a period when I'm very sexually active with a partner, even if you might be having some form of intimate sexual activity multiple times a week, the actual number of times where you might actually go with what is the conventional penis in vagina kind of interaction might actually be just once or twice a week, because the rest is more like sensual touching or playing
Mm,
with certain things.
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's your sex life is very broad, like this is how big it is, and penis in vagina action is like that small part of it.
Yeah, yes. So please do educate yourself more so that
Yeah.
you know what sex actually sensual means. You have a broader definition to it.
Well, that's actually the
Okay.
next question, which is like, how do they educate themselves?
How do they? Yes, how do they?
Like
Is there any
where do you get that kind of education, you know?
I would think there is a lot in the net. It's just that maybe a lot of people doesn't know what are the keywords to type, right? So a lot of times they will go pornography, or whatever the keywords for pornography is. And there are, there are so much. Even if today you look into sexual performance anxiety and how you can overcome that, I think there's quite a lot of good advice online.
Yeah. My advice for people who are looking for references would be to not to be very literal about what you're looking for when you're researching. It's like how to masturbate to get an erection again, or like how to masturbate in general. or how to sensually touch myself. It's like you don't look for what is it, like really angry sex couple in kitchen on internet. Like you don't do that. Like that's not what you look for. No, you look for the very specific thing that you're trying to figure out,
Okay.
and that's where the rabbit
Okay.
hole goes. Google, the Google search is not evil. You just need to be quite specific about it.
Okay. Okay. And they will start giving you similar reference, right?
Yeah, at some point you're
yeah.
gonna the more specific you are, it'll start narrowing it down, because you'll start seeing people who are like, say, like actual sex therapy instructors or sex educators, and people who've really studied the science of this. And there's also tantric sex educators. They're all gonna come out in one side of the internet, but if you're not specific, you're gonna go into the dark side of the internet.
Yeah, you are so right. So I think again, when it comes to sexual performance anxiety, I think one thing that is not talked enough, I think, is Kegel exercise.
Yeah.
Whether it's for women, for better orgasm, for men, better erection. So I think Google about Kegel exercise and you will be amazed. And it's just simple exercise that I think not many people are doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually thinking that people should be starting doing that, not in their 40s. I think you need to start it when you're in your 30s. Like, quite honest, you should be starting in your 30s, especially if you're sedentary. Like, if your life is mostly sitting down on a desk, you need to start that in your 30s, especially if you drink, you don't eat well, and you don't exercise.
No, even people who exercise, like people who take heavy weight, actually it will also weakens their pelvic floor muscle. People who runs marathon, because of the long hours, it will also weaken their pelvic floor muscle. So not doing the right exercise might also weaken your pelvic floor muscle. So read about it. And the good thing is, in B&Co Clinic, we have a chair that actually helps you to do the Kegel exercise. 28 minutes equivalent to 12,000 times of Kegel exercise. And frankly, even by one sessions, you really feel the difference, because it's 12,000 times of Kegel exercise. I think normally if you're doing Kegel exercise, like you do 100 times,
people will do 100 in like a day, and they already feel like that's a big commitment to do.
Yes. Yeah.
So you sit on this chair for like once a week or something. You're good for like a while.
Yes, it's super good. For me, I will always sit on it. I think it's really, really good for incontinence issue, for orgasm issue. I hear a lot of our male customers who actually sit it for 3 months, right? Our program is always 3 months. After 3 months, then they will stop for 3 months, but they always come back. I tell you, they always come back. We don't need to remind them. They will always come back, because when you do exercise, you do this Kegel exercise, you really feel the difference.
Yeah. Like I have to change my recommendation. I have to change my recommendation now for men who want to have extremely healthy sexual areas to be functioning for a long time. It's like, eat your carbs and your fats properly. That's like your olive oils and your butter. And I'm not saying run away from carbs. You can eat some of them if you really want to. Do moderate exercise, especially some form of resistance strength training, especially on your glutes area, like your butt areas, because that's close to your Kegel areas.
Yes.
And your glute control has a lot to do with being able to control your pelvic muscles, to be able to handle your erection, and also to be able to handle like control your own ejaculation limits. Super important. Number 3, sleep properly. Number 4, quit drinking. And number 5, which is recently added, is sit on that damn chair, because it's just way too much value for the amount of effort that you put into it.
And you're talking about the glute exercise, right? We also have another machine which is for the core muscle and the glute muscle. So I always tell the men customers, your core muscle and your glute muscle plays an important role when you are doing lovemaking, right? Especially when you're in a missionary position and you have very weak muscle or weak glute muscle.
Yeah,
Then you will
that's
know.
that's the very thin line between being able to do 15 to 20 thrusts and then having a back problem and saying we gotta switch it up now because I can't handle it anymore. To
Yeah.
being able to carry your partner wherever you want, if you really
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah. See, that's why I say for men, your glute muscle, your core muscle
Yeah,
plays. So it's basically from core to floor. Your
yeah,
floor
it's good. It's a
and
good
your
rule of
core.
thumb.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So that part you need to make sure your muscles are strong.
yeah. Plus, also,
Okay, so
plus, I just like just a very shallow thing. Like, guys, ladies, look at your butt as much as you look at theirs. Okay, like
you
it's not
are
just
right.
here they're looking at. When you turn around, they also see if your butt
Yeah.
looks good.
Yes, yes. If you have a sagging butt, it's like you're looking at women who have sagging butt as well.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
you're already blushing because I'm calling you out on it. I'm sure you check out people when the good looking guy turns around, you're like, hmm.
This I know whether he can perform well or not.
Yeah, it's like I can see the posture.
Okay, so back to the topic. Okay, performance anxiety. Okay, just now you're talking about someone new, right? So the sexual anxiety for dating someone new and with a long-term relationship will be
Yeah.
different. How different? How can it be different? What are the
So
differences?
I think that when you're dating somebody new, it's actually going to be extremes of the spectrum. Either you have so much anxiety or you're way too excited.
Okay.
Whereas if you're more with a committed relationship, it falls somewhere more in the moderate kind of environment.
Okay.
Because if somebody is new,
Uh-huh.
you're psychologically programmed to think about, oh, I need to impress this person for them to keep wanting to have sex with me in the future.
Okay.
And so there's like that like drive to like I must do well. That is on one side of the spectrum. Everything must be perfect. And then
Okay.
on the flip side of that spectrum is the idea that I'm just way too excited and no matter what happens, I'm going to be ready to go. So there you
Okay.
can either be super excited or super anxious. Only
Okay.
those two sides of the spectrum usually when it comes to somebody who's brand new.
I would think the don't set too high of an expectation on first time when you have sex with someone new. You know,
Oh
you
yeah.
don't know that person well enough. That person doesn't know you well enough, and you don't know what the person likes or dislike. So I think sometimes people have so much of fantasy, and
Yeah. You
for
get
first
into a
time
new
sex.
Yeah, you get into a new car. You don't hard floor the accelerator just like that. That's not how it works. You feel
Yeah,
everything out. It's like, where's the AC? How do you work the
yeah,
mirrors?
yeah.
It's like that, you know?
Okay, very, very good example. I think the men will relate it very well
Yeah.
because you cannot be like touching everything when it's
Yeah.
new, right?
That's the fast way to break something or get into a crash.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I think women as well, they will have a lot of anxiety, especially if they think that this new partner's ex-girlfriend is super hot, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So if my new partner, the ex-girlfriend, is super hot, super sexy, how am I going to beat that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the underlying thing that is in the back of a lot of women when it comes to insecurity. Although it's worth noting that the gateway to having sex is controlled mostly by the woman choosing
Okay.
if it's going to happen or not. It's like the woman is the one who has to give the
Oh,
consent that it can
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So
So
like
there's always a joke that's very funny. Like, if you sleep with that woman and she has a matching lingerie, you did not decide to have sex today.
yeah, she
She was the
decided.
one.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. That means she was actually expecting that to happen today.
Yeah.
And men, you have to understand that that's part of life. Like you actually have to kind of earn your way to be able to, enjoy the fruits of labor, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think especially dating someone new, like even before you romance the person, you already say, do you want to hook up or something? Which I find it a bit rude in a way. I find it, unless both of you are into hookup, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
upfront, you know that you're into hookup. But if you're going after a woman and you haven't even romanced that woman and you're already expecting that she wants to sleep with you, I think you're not putting enough effort.
I would say that depends on where you're finding your dates,
Okay.
in which channels. I mean, if you're
Okay.
swiping on Tinder or you're on Bumble or you're introduced by friends of friends, those are all very different contexts,
Okay.
for sure.
True.
But as a general note, you'd say that yeah, women do control the gateway to if sex is going to happen. But the anxiety exists on both sides because the man is trying to feel like, okay, I gotta do this right so that she'll want to continue doing this with me if it goes well. And females would be looking at, am I gonna live up to whatever standard or whatever this is? Do I look pretty enough? Is this like enticing enough? Yeah, that all still
Okay,
exists right there.
so that's another issue that men has when it comes to performance anxiety. Like they wanted to please this woman so much, right? Like, oh, he has been waiting for so long, like courting this lady for so long, and this is the day that she agrees to make love to me, and he is not able to perform.
When you mean by unable to
How?
perform, what do you mean by unable to perform?
Like not able to get an erection.
Oh, okay. Who?
How?
Who? That's actually your personal problem because why did you have that? Like not able to like
Maybe
get your
maybe because of anxiety, right? Because maybe
yeah.
at certain age their
Ah, okay.
circulation is not as good anymore, and because he waited for so long, maybe, right? And waiting for like this big day, right, that she agrees, and because of so much of anxiety, maybe he just can't, not able to get erection. I think another reason is also when I hear people talk about this, that person not able, I mean the man not able to get erection, and the woman are not helping as well.
Oh wow. I mean that's a
The
completely
woman
different
just
set of
sit. No,
there's just so many problems there already. It's crazy.
no. The woman just sit there and waiting. Are you ready? Can you imagine that?
It would actually, I think it would be really stressful for a man to be like, okay, the woman is like is ready, it's all ready,
Yeah.
all lubricated, in the mood, ready to go, pumping like crazy, and then you're the one who's like, I can't do anything right now. Well, I would say that either you tell the person right away that that part is not functioning and you do something else. You better be good at other things.
Yeah, true. I
Yeah,
think that's true.
I would say just
I think
do other things.
I think anxiety is like this. The more you focus on
Yeah.
it, the more you will feel it. And if you are doing other things and you relaxes, get it off your mind, and suddenly it just works. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. You can do other things, right?
Yeah.
And
I
and
mean, look at
suddenly the
it. Like
woman
you don't,
and suddenly the woman feel, wow, this guy is so giving.
yeah. And chances are if you're actually doing other things that are also working and you guys are able to make that work, you will feel more relaxed and better about yourself. And guess what? Those are all the prerequisites for you to probably get an erection anyway.
Yeah.
So you know
Okay,
what that
that's good.
means? You know what that means? Look, dude, you were the one who needed psychological foreplay.
Okay.
Not the
Okay.
woman. You were the one who needed psychological. You were the one who needed to relax.
Yeah, you're right. So let's say if your partner has a sexual anxiety, how can you as a partner, a kind and understanding partner, can help?
Wait, can you repeat that?
So let's say your partner has a sexual performance anxiety and you are a kind and understanding partner, but what are the things that you can do to actually help?
Oh,
Like
I mean, we
action.
already. So those are the three, right?
Yeah.
Encouragement.
Encouragement.
So
So like saying what?
so if they're gonna do other things,
Mm.
if they're gonna do other things, you encourage them with the other things that they're doing.
Let's say he's not. He's just like so stuck into like I can't get erection. Like
Okay, so that's not encouragement anymore because that'll
yeah.
actually you don't need encouragement for that. You only give
Okay.
encouragement when things are already moving.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's already like that, you either you go to support first. So you stop the sexual activity and you go more into intimate conversations and you spend quality time with each other. Maybe you cuddle, you talk, you massage, and you sit there and you enjoy each other's company and talk about stuff
Yeah.
in a
And I think
peaceful way.
when you do that, you should not have an expectation that he will get the erection and both of you will have orgasm, because when you have that again, it might cause anxiety again, right? You should be doing that in a very present, just enjoying the process rather than focusing getting erection or focusing getting orgasm.
Yeah.
Okay, so final questions before we end. How can we break the cycle of performance anxiety? Because it's always a cycle, right? Like
Yeah,
today,
especially when it's so we're talking about if it's already there, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Especially when it started first time, then you get more nervous the next time and it get worse and worse and worse. And especially if you don't have a supportive partners. And every time you are not getting erection or you're not getting aroused for a woman, the partner get pissed off. And the next time
Yeah.
when you do, you are so afraid of pissing off that partner again that it become a bad cycle. So
Yeah,
how
that
can we
one
break this cycle?
I don't think you can do that by yourselves, to be quite honest. No. You need to that's not a sex problem. That is a relationship problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're looking at it, so that's already like a relationship that has issues in general, because that means you guys have deeper issues there. It means you're passive aggressively poking at your partner already. That means there's
Okay.
something wrong there between the two of you as people, as a couple. But if
Okay.
your relationship is healthy, but your partner has specific performance anxiety issues that have very specific triggers, you as the partner who does not have that problem, you need to be very aware of those triggers. So if
Triggers,
it's
yeah.
body shaming issues, you have to exert a
Yes.
little bit more effort into
Yes.
encouraging on that part specifically on their body. Instead of trying to tell them it's okay, because that's just if there's a difference between saying, no, it's okay that your body is like that. That's not encouraging. That's like a pity party. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you
Okay.
go the opposite. You're not trying to go from -5 to 0. What you want to
Yeah.
encourage them is from 0 to like +5, which is that I
Yeah.
like this part of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
keep doing that repeatedly for a long time. And that goes for everything from how their skin looks, how their shape looks, whatever. And
So
then the
again,
other
I
one,
think every time when I talk to Kills, it's like we can't end the conversation. There's so much to talk about. But again, I think when it comes to performance anxiety for women, I would think you need to own your body. Like you
yeah,
need to be comfortable with your own body. And I think, of course, I have come to a stage that, at now 40s, I think I have come to a stage where I have self-acceptance, you know, especially when I'm in anti-aging wellness industry, right? Like we need to look good, look good, look good all the time. But at this stage of life, I would think, I need to also accept that my body will start aging. And with this type of acceptance, you actually feel better, like you are just comfortable in your own skin. I think that is really, really important. I don't think we are able to, like, of course, if you are able to look fit, that will be great. But if you are not, you should also be able to love your body, because everyone's body are different, and especially if your body are strong and healthy, I would think just love your body. The second thing, I think for women, better sex education. I think sometimes you don't know what to do, don't know what are the skills, what are the methods. It will also cause you to have a lot of anxiety because you don't know what to do right at that time. So I think if you can have a better sex education, that will be good. And for women, lastly, I feel is express what you enjoy. I think a lot of women are not able to say it out, what they really like. I think you really need to learn to express what you enjoy so that you and your partner can really be present and experience it in a very wholesome way, rather than too much of expectation. And sometimes you especially women, I feel they will have like certain thinking and certain things, and it's not matching their expectation, kind of thing. So if you don't say it out, your partner will not able to match your expectation at all.
Remember, everybody, that the point of sex is not to have an orgasm. The point of sex is that it's adult playtime to be enjoyed between two people.
Yes.
So if you have to make it enjoyable between two people, and enjoyable does not mean the two of you just, it's not limited to just orgasms. It's the whole thing from like the whole experience, how you guys build tension,
I think
everything else.
I think if you have come to a stage where you and your partner can just make love without orgasm, that will be great. Like, it's okay not to have orgasm, and you just enjoy the process and the play. You have graduate in certain way. Okay, thank you, Kills. Do you have any last say before we end today's sessions? I enjoy so much talking to you.
I mean, we sum it up with like 3, right? Like 4. Be kind and understanding. Get educated. Sex is not about the orgasm only. And the last part, practice. Like practice and do your Kegel exercises, okay?
Yes. So whoever wants to do the Kegel exercise, please DM us. Maybe you stand a chance to get a free sessions worth 800 ringgit, okay? So DM us and experience how amazing is 12,000 times of Kegel exercise in just 28 minutes. Okay, Thank you very much, Kil. I'm going back to the beach now.
All right. Have fun. Take care.
Okay.
Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.